You either die the hero or see yourself become the villain. Seen too many dark nights and like the way you're living. It got me living. The plot is vivid in the blast conditions. It's like you hopeless at the bar. Get a shot to giving. Neighbors not complicit. I can't blame them though. Remember as a youngin', I rep Detroit on my favorite coat. For around the hood, the kind that was only made for snow. Mans caught me slipping, he tripping over a radio. I was running track with the homies, I didn't know what to say because I thought he was joking. Behind his back he held a gauge, he decided to show me. In the midst of broad day, all out in the open. I was only 13, but it's relevant to today. Put a price on life, but negligent in their ways. Forget a slippery slope, it's a precipice that you face. And the president set the precedent, evident by your faith. For that cream, living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with a gangster lean. Even though you know they go, they all it seems. What you mean, what you doing for that cream? Living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with that gangster lean. We in between those kings and queens. In the city of schemes.
In the city they scheme.
I can still remember Kwame, only thing that he taught me. City government's busted, causing a kamikaze. Crime waves like tsunamis, they say they serving that white. Chopping bricks like karate. What's the prices for your vices? The sacrifices that you lie with every night. And sold your soul to that rock, you Jimi Hendrix when your life ends. If you ask me, man, I couldn't do it. Unity and community barely move as a unit. Unless you talking in decimals, everybody will tune in. I never moved to that music, you never see me approve it. So sorry if I'm not to that standard, I'm goody two-shoes. Pay expenses at someone's expense. Some families fiends, so how are they making they rent? Placing a bet for the rush of some luck, but it was something more like Russian roulette, and it got me upset. Living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with that gangster lean. Even though you know they go, they all it seems. What you mean, what you doing for that cream? Living in that fairy tale American dream. Kill it when you walking with that gangster lean. We in between those kings and queens. In the city of schemes.
In the city they scheme.
Look, starting near the end of the 9-6. Born into the night, I've been considered a nonsense. Gotta spread my wings to stay fly for this outlet. Searching for that power, put a shock to your conscience. So watch for the caution, I ought to be honest for context. It's the rap Richie Valens. I'm fooling on these strings and then I hit you with a ballad. But I'm careful with the flow because I know we need a balance. No TJ laughing, but I'm here to bring the challenge. I came up where this line.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the El Niño podcast. I'm Eladio Niño, and this is Real Everyday People. I want to thank everybody that's tuning in, everybody that's been tapping in, showing support, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate you because that's what it's going to take for me to continue to do this work. As you guys see, I got my Men's Wellness Matters. This shirt is very important to me because lately I've been struggling and dealing with a lot of things because, sometimes life gets overwhelming. Also, the work that we do is very overwhelming as well. And, a lot of times men are taught to, suppress their feelings and to just be strong and keep moving forward. But, we're also humans, and as men, we need to teach each other a whole new life skill and the ability to be able to learn how to take care of yourself, because as men in society today, we carry so much weight on our shoulders. But today, man, I have so many special guests here today. I invited my whole Ceasefire team because I felt like, our whole community, everybody who watches, everybody who taps in needs to hear from my brothers, from my team, to know what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. So I'm honored today, and I'm going to introduce my brother Bishop, my brother G Ward, and my brother Q, man.
How you doing, man? Thanks for the invite. For sure.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with Bishop. I'm going to let him tell you guys a little bit about yourselves and a little bit about your life, how you got to where we're at today, and, you know, your job for Ceasefire.
All right. So what's up,
You're gonna have to
everybody?
speak it up.
Got to pick it up a little bit. All right, like Sunday morning. So Bishop Daryl Harris, I am the faith-based coordinator for Ceasefire Detroit. About my life, I'm married. Been married for, I believe we're going on 35 years this year.
That's
No,
a
30
long
years.
time.
Sorry, 30 years this year. In November. That's a long time. Yeah, I'm old. I got it,
At
everybody.
35, boy, you already prepared yourself for the next 5. Huh?
Yep, preparing myself for the next 5. That's absolutely right.
With God, all things are possible,
That's
Bishop.
right. It's the only way things are possible. So I've got 3 adopted children, and then I have 2 of my own set of twins. I'm proud of my baby girl and my baby boy. My baby girl just graduated from Northwestern. My son is on his way to graduating from college. The biggest thing about that, this was all free to me. They got scholarships, so I'm grateful for that. And just I got into this work because some time ago I had a baby brother who was killed in gun violence. And just knowing what that feels like to be on the other end of that, and thinking about what retaliation looks like and how to get back, and my twisted sense of what justice really was. And when I came out of that, I wanted to be on the other end to help people to kind of come through and navigate themselves through that. Also, I think it's important, you know, to be out here in the community. I never wanted to be a minister that was only in the pulpit. I wanted to be a minister that was in the community. We made conscious decisions to not leave the city of Detroit. A lot of ministers, they started churches or they became pastors of churches and they moved out, you know, and I understand it, you know, safety and other reasons, comfortability. But, you know, my wife and I made conscious decisions years ago that we would stay in the city because we wanted to be a part of the same life experiences of the people that we also pastored and led. So that was important to us, led us to this team, led us to this work. I'm a part of the original 4 or 5, if you will, that gets down. And now just seeing where Ceasefire has gone and what we've been able to accomplish, the team has grown exponentially, and we just get so much done. And even though we need more help, but still the ground that we cover, you know, I love this team because we're not about talking about it, we're about doing it. And that's what's super important to me.
Bishop, where did you grow up at?
So I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I was born in the Chi-Town. All right. And we moved
I was
here.
born in Chi-Town too, man.
All right,
Cook
all
County
right, all
Hospital.
right. There it is. Well, I was on the other side. I was born in Mount Sinai. So I was on the mountaintop with Moses, you know. Yeah, I was born in Chicago. We moved to Detroit. Family at that time, a family of 11, moved to Detroit, and we were able to be here. I think I was like 5 years old, and we've been here ever since. So I grew up on the east side of Detroit. We lived around a little bit, but mostly the east side of Detroit. And I come up in what is now known, you know, as 05 or 13 area. So I'm back there with the BKs and all those guys. Y'all know
The
what I'm
Earl
talking
Flynn's.
about. The Earl Flynn's and all those
Okay,
guys. Coming up on the east side of Detroit.
What was you rocking? Adidas, Elysees?
You know what, man? So my brothers were
British
special.
Knights.
My brother was special, right? They wouldn't let me do all that stuff. Man. You know, I was next to the baby boys, so they were kind of like,
okay.
no, Mama Harris not gonna kill us because we got you out here. So, you know, and it's funny about that because people ask about that time in my life. You know, we were poor, but we didn't know. I didn't know we were poor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because my mother, it was always something under the Christmas tree. Food was always on the table. I was good and grown before I realized that a lot of times that my mother wasn't sitting at the table when we ate dinner was because it wasn't enough for her. Wow. And she would go in the room and close the door and just pray. I didn't know that when we were kids. I thought she just wasn't hungry because that's what she would say. Oh, y'all go ahead and eat, you know. But a lot of times it wasn't even enough. But, you know, that's why, and I throw this in, I don't have any shame whatsoever. My mother left this world living in my house. because I believe in that wholeheartedly. My mother took it to the rocks for us, and I took it to the rocks for her.
Man, that is dope, bro. Definitely, man. Definitely. So were you raised with both of your parents?
I was not raised with both of my parents.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I didn't discover who my father was until I was like 14.
Wow. Okay.
So he was always around, but I didn't know that he was my father.
Were you ever able to make a connection with him?
Yes, and I was very grateful for that. As soon as I found out who he was never closed off from me. It was just a situation. He had another family. He was in ministry also, and so it wasn't, something that was conducive, I guess, at the time. But we were definitely able to make amends before he left this world, and we
Okay.
actually grew to become really close.
Wow, that's really great. So did he inspire you to get into ministry as well? Or is this something that just fell into your life? Because my father was a minister as well for many years,
Yeah. I think so. I don't think that I would have gone this route as easily if it were not for his input. I started being a pastor at the age of 15 under his ministry. So a year later from finding out that he was my dad is actually when the calling kind of came on. And I was a pastor since that time. So I've been pastoring for over 35 years.
Wow. Okay. Man of God for sure. That's a good commitment there.
Yeah.
G Ward, it's on you, brother. Let them know who you are, where you from,
Wow.
what it is and what it ain't.
I don't know what it is, but I can tell you what it ain't. You know what? Born and raised city of Detroit. Outside of my college years, I've been in the city. Family man, children, have adopted children, have raised some of my players in my own home.
Okay.
Just kind of looking at the city even as a young man. The first time I spoke to a group, I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And my pastor, I'm on my way to college, and he reached me one Sunday before we were leaving after benediction. He said, next week I need you to speak to some people. And I'm wondering, like, speak to some people about what? Pastor Leonard Thomas, man, Southwest Detroit, military and Horatio. And I remember thinking, like, okay, who you want me to talk to, Pastor? And he said, I want you to talk to some of the youth. Well, I kind of had to check my ID, and I'm thinking, I'm one of the youth. I remember that day, and I can honestly say I remember being in the basement of a church, and I'm kind of sitting in a circle. And I remember within the first 5 minutes, it was like, this is something that I want to do. I was speaking to my peers, and as a matter of fact, 2 or 3 of the people in that circle were older than me.
Wow.
And I remember the impact that conversation had, not only on me, but on those people. So, after that, going away to college, coming back home, still kind of figure it out. What do I want to do? And, being a spiritual guy, God just kind of put it in my lap. I started working at a juvenile facility. Then I started coaching basketball. My high school coach called me one night about 11 o'clock, said, hey, you need to come up here and start coaching. And I'm thinking, I ain't trying to be no basketball coach. I was
What
25.
juvenile facility you at? The one on Forest?
No, I was called to Boysville. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
One of our coworkers, John Hoskins Sr., he was working there as well, and it was over on the east side, right near Harper. And once I did that, and it kind of things just kind of fell in line, and it became who I was. So when I looked at it, I said, man, God really put me in a position to do something that I know I wanted to do, but in my mind I needed to do. So here I am. You're looking at 52 years old. A couple days ago, I've been kind of doing this work for over 27 to 28 years, and I don't have any regrets whatsoever.
That's a lifetime commitment, bro.
Without a doubt, over half of my life has been committed to it. But when we look at it, we all know it gets trying at times on us emotionally and mentally. So, but every night we know, every morning we know, what, there's more work that needs to be done. So as much work as we do, we're really only chipping away a little bit at the concrete bit by bit. There's a lot more work needs to be done. And oftentimes, we got to kind of check ourselves and say, hey, you can't do everything. You can't do it all at one time. So
No doubt about it, bro, because I know we constantly pour of ourselves into our communities, into our people and their needs, and the needs are never ending. You know what I'm saying? And it just gets to the point where we need to be replenished. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't get no breaks. This is a 24/7, 7 days a week commitment that we make.
And you realize that, you can see a family, you can see an individual in need. The hard part comes when you don't know if they realize they need it.
Exactly.
You don't know if they realize they need you and what you have to offer. So I think for us, we're trying to really, really help individuals and help community and say, look, this is what you need, and we've got something for you. And it's not costing you anything other than a little bit of your time. And the crazy part, I think, for us is, and we know this, we're doing the bulk of the work initially. We'll do the bulk of the work initially. We just need your help, and we're trying to get you to help us help you. And I think that's
Brother,
the hard
we
part.
are truly frontline workers, boot to the ground workers, bro. You know what I'm saying? I have been so inspired by working beside you, brothers, man, because I'm talking about we go from one task to the next task, and I mean, we wake up with our plates already full. You know what I'm saying, of responsibility and, you know, of people in pain, people who are suffering, people who are grieving. And, you know, there's times we have to suppress our own needs, you know, and we make a lot of our sacrifices, and we even suffer, you know, and we sacrifice quality time with our own family and our own kids, you know what I'm saying, to be able to go out and aid and assist people in our community, you know. And sometimes, you know, it's a thankless job, but, you know, lately I've been seeing a lot of people appreciating our presence and appreciating the resources and all the time and effort that we pour into them.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think not only is it a thankless job, oftentimes you have to realize and say, hey, you know what? It gets trying for us, not just physically. I think the physical part is the easy part, but mentally and emotionally, when we kind of look around and say, you know what? Oh, I need to get to this person. Or I need to get this community. You know, you said we have different tasks and we go from one task to the next. It's kind of like all the tasks are kind of blended together. You know, you're doing one thing. You know, I was on the phone today with a member that I haven't talked to in 6 or 7 months. And he informed me of some of the things he's been doing. And as he's talking to me, he's saying that he really needs me and we got to get together. He's saying we got to get together tonight. And I'm thinking like, man, I've been trying to reach you for 7 months. And for what you said you've been doing, you've been wasting a lot of time.
Definitely.
You know, so I think it's difficult for us at times, but I tell you, you just alluded to it. You know, when you talk about a dream team, this is really a dream team. And the diversity amongst this group, not only from an ethnic standpoint, not only from a racial standpoint, a gender standpoint, but the mindset. And everybody has such great success in certain areas that we kind of work this thing out. You know, I kind of look at it. If you ever seen Earth, Wind, and Fire in a concert, you know, it's a lot of people on the stage, but everybody is just as important as someone else. So, you know, the lead singer might look like he gets, you know, Quincy is our David Ruffin. But, you know, but when you look at it, if he's David Ruffin and Bishop is Eddie Kendricks, the drummer is valuable. I'm probably the drummer. I'm probably the person that just kind of opens the curtain to make sure everybody gets through. But everybody is valuable to what we do. So nobody is looked at like they're not valuable, because everything we do on a daily basis is so important to everybody. So, man, I just appreciate being on this squad.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this squad is specifically handpicked. You know, we are all people who are influential and have respect and good reputations within our communities, and we have good relationships with the people within our communities, for sure.
I think that's the most important thing.
That's the only way we can get the job done, bro. And you know what I love is when we're working in Greektown and everybody knows everybody. Everybody's pulling up. What's up, Q? What's up, Waddell? What's up, G? What's up, Bishop? What's up? Like, everybody like hanging out the window. It's like a family reunion sometimes, you know? And every week I'm there. I see somebody, couple, what up? You know what I'm saying? And it makes the mediation better for us, you know what I'm saying? Like, really on both sides, the population, they love seeing us, and even the police, they love seeing us, because they already know that we got that connection with the community, and that's something that a lot of them don't have, you know?
Wow, that's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
Q, it's on you, brother. Let us know what it is.
Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be a part of the team. As Coach just said, man, this is a dream team. Yeah. And it's really a dream for me, man, just to be a part of it. And it's crazy to think even how I got here and how certain things had to happen in my life in order for me to land in this seat right here, you know, connected with these brothers and sisters, man. It's only God can do something like this, man, you know, and the impact that this team makes every single day. But for me, you know, you guys talk about, you know, parents or fathers being pastors, man. You know, my dad, man, was a minister on the east side of Detroit for still is for a number of years. You know, over 40 years, and I seen him take the gospel to the streets. That's what had the profound impact on me. You know what I mean? He was about community, right? Sundays having service on the parking lot, right? Him walking the streets of the community, him walking through parkside projects and praying for people and asking them, how can I help? How can I serve you? You know what I mean? Just sitting as a, 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid watching my dad do that, it shaped my life. And really that's the message that I think that we really need to get out, because it's about legacy. If fathers set the example for their sons, right? And sons grow up to take on that responsibility of really being a man and holding down the house, taking care of your wife, taking care of your kids, we'll have a better community. So I'm thankful. I truly am, man. And, grew up on the east side, East Warren and Somerset, East Warren and Bishop, out of Drive area.
Not this Bishop. It's a street.
It's a street Bishop. Yes. East Warren and Bishop on the east side. Yes, sir. But just seeing ministry done. You know what I mean? At another level, man. So and it shaped my life again. So just different jobs that I've had, and just had a passion to work with young people, working in the schools in like 5 different school districts. Started my own nonprofit. Me and my wife Misty. Hey, baby, how you doing? And then and then from there I hear about this thing called Ceasefire, and a good friend of mine was the community organizer for it, and he gave me a call and said, Q, man, you need to jump on board, man. I got Coach Ward. I think Coach Ward, George Ward from King, he on the team. Oh, word. Okay. Told me the other brothers he had, and then I just showed up one day not knowing what in the world I was doing, but I was present, right? And then not knowing that he was transitioning out. So there was a vacancy, and somebody recommended me. I interviewed, and boom, here I am. And we started with how many? Jesus, it was just 4 or 5 of us. Jermaine. Yep. Rest in peace, our brother Jermaine Tillman, and our brother Snoop. And so just us 4 just making that impact, in the city, and trying to touch as many people as we can, right? But amazingly, just week by week, month by month, the team would expand and grow, and not by our own doing, right? You know what I mean? Right. But just divinely orchestrated and put together. We start to meet different people that had a certain skill set, and that had a larger, bigger reach, and that could touch and impact more people. And that's where we stand today. Not to say that, we can do it all or we're perfect, because we want to grow even more, right? And we know there's other people out there that can help us expand our reach, but we've done, this team has done an amazing job, up to this point, and we hope to do so much more.
Listen, man, I was very honored and privileged to have met your father at the Samaritan Center when we were there building with the youth and holding that talking circle with the youth. Yes, sir. And just hearing your father speak, man, it was very natural for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And everything that he was talking about in his experience and the community that he's been working in for 40, 50 years, you know what I mean? Like he has seen society turn over 4 or 5 different times. Absolutely. He has seen the problems from then, from past, present, even the future. 100%. 100%. And it was definitely very inspiring to hear from him. And we all do good work out here, and rest in peace to Pat Bates. He was one of the brothers that was a part of this team.
Miss you, bro.
It just comes to show you that death doesn't discriminate, tragedy doesn't discriminate, murder, hate, all that doesn't discriminate. It touches all parts of life. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And even the people who are out there trying to do good and improve themselves and help others, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and we learn to carry on and let these people live through us, and the work that we do. Definitely. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna wrap this one up, and we got 3 more brothers that are gonna come, and they're gonna break bread with you guys.
Right. All right.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
No doubt about it.
Appreciate it. We do have one shout out to give.
Let's come on with it.
Director
yes,
Cheryl Jones.
No doubt.
I think for us, You know, when you look at what Barry Gordy was able to do, I think she's on the lines of that.
100%.
You know, being able to do what she's been able to do with this team and kind of orchestrate and kind of manipulate some things and make some things happen for us.
Yeah.
I can say this: Ceasefire Detroit, as it is known today, would not be what it is today
Without Cheryl Jones. 100%.
Absolutely, unequivocally true.
Well
No question.
said. Well
No
said.
question.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
Salute, Cheryl.
Salute.
And happy
Appreciate
birthday to George Ward.
Yes. How old are you, G? 65, 66, something like that?
Minus 13 and 14.
That's what that is. Tell
52.
me you 30.
Hey, I
you're
thank
30.
the good Lord.
You're 30 for the 10th time.
Oh, come on, man. That's what we did.
30 for the 10th time, huh? Yeah, so let me get Snoop, Hop, and Kurt.
Oh, man.
What's with you and all the music references? He called you. He called you Eddie Gary. 2015.
So I had to break this up in segments because we got so many powerful brothers and sisters that are coming on today to share their experiences, to share their life and their insight. So right now we got my man Hop, John Hoskins, we got my man Snoop, and we got my man OGYBI, Kirk McGirt, baby. Ain't another one like him. You hear me?
Original.
So Hop, man, let them know what it is and what it ain't, man.
Well, John Hoskins Sr., father of 4 with a ton of grandkids. I started this work years ago, over 30 years ago, working in juvenile facilities. And after a while, I ended up transitioning into schools. But one of the reasons I had to transition was because I got tired of being reactionary and wanted to be progressive in trying to find a way to stop kids from getting locked up and stop young men and young women from being incarcerated. So it was just a natural progression. And then ran into Cheryl and begged her for about 2-3 months to let me join the squad. And I was able to do that while still working in the high schools. And here I am. You know, and it's a blessing, as the other 3 guys said, to be, surrounded by such great people, men and women, doing the things that we do and impacting the lives that we touch. I see myself doing nothing but what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? This is what I was meant to do, and this is what I've always done. So,
What was it like working with juveniles, bro? Like, because I know I went in the juvenile system, and when I was 15, like, I grew up fast because I was the firstborn of 3. So at a young age, I was the man of the house, and I just swore I knew it all. Like, couldn't nobody tell me nothing, And once I got over the fear of, juvenile and all that, and just going in there and just going through all the process, I felt grown, you know what I mean?
Right,
but
right.
like, what's it like to be able to break down them barriers with juveniles and get through to them and deliver the message that they need to hear?
well, the thing with me was I went in so young, 24. I can tell you the first day I worked was September the 2nd, 1990.
Okay.
And that was the reason I know that, because that's the day my first son was born. My oldest child was born. So I think that, holding him in the morning and then going to work that evening, gave me a different perspective on how things were, because I was doing my own thing as well, ripping and running. I was wild, 24 years old, doing my thing. But when I held him in my arms and then went to work that night, I saw life different. So my interaction with them was all about, what can I do to help them see things differently, to move in a different direction. Even though I was young, but I always say that was the beginning of my life, was right then, because I had my child, I saw life different holding him, and then I went and I had the opportunity to impact other lives. So
And I could imagine how, like, seeing your son in the youth that you are working with, like, not wanting your son to ever be in that situation. You know what I mean?
even though I felt like putting them in there sometimes, but anyway.
But I
Right.
just you know, I've always been respectful, and I always grew up around adults. I had 7 uncles that I grew up around, and they were all influential, whether it was right or wrong. It was always, you know, they always made some type of impact in my life in one form or another. But I know that, you know, it's not always an easy task, you know, to get through, especially when you got young boys who have not been raised with father figures, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes it may seem or feel intrusive when a man does step in and try to, you know, guide you, navigate you, advise you, you know, try to mold you, teach you, build with you. A lot of times they reject it because they don't know how to accept it.
Well, let me tell you, I hold this to be true in everything I've done. You know, they want the guidance, they want the structure. They just want you to be consistent. They want you to be consistent, and they want you to be true. You know what I'm saying? And they can tell if you fake a mile away. You know what I'm saying? So if they trust you, like when we walk, like y'all was talking about going around through walking through Greektown and stuff. I can't tell you how many of my former kids and students that I see that I still kick it with. You know what I'm saying?
Every time we work there.
Right, but it's simply because I'm the same cat now that I was when they was in school. You know, and when I run into guys that was in the group homes and juvenile homes, I'm good with them because I'm the same cat now that I was back then. So you know, all it is, if you're consistent, you true, and you honest with them, they can respect that. Even when you got to discipline them, they can respect that because they know it's coming from a place of love. So
absolutely, man. And they need to know that the love is real, the concern, the care is real, and it's unconditional.
For sure.
Because you know, it's just not easy, you know, growing up, you know, without, you know, positive male figures. You know, sometimes the youth become very combative with it, you know, and they just try to grow into themselves, you know.
And a lot of times, you know, because of the things we went through as kids and coming up and some of the trauma that, you know, I've witnessed personally and went through in my life, you know, it's only 2 ways you can go. Either you're gonna learn from it, or you're gonna give it back in a way of teaching. You know what I'm saying? So, and once again, it's all love.
So when I was in prison, I had started up a youth group with some of the guys, and it was very successful youth program that we had started. And I had asked, like, why was there such a major disconnect between youth and adults? Like, why did they lack so much respect for parents, aunts, and uncles? And they was like, well, shit, I sell dope to my mom. I sell dope to my dad, my uncles, my aunts, my older cousins. They all own dope. They all get high. They, you know what I'm saying? And they like, how can I respect them? Because I look at all of them like they just dope fiends. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, that's a major barrier. You know what I'm saying? To build a bridge of just respect, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you get through to somebody when they had no respect for you, don't want to hear what you got to say because they see the way you living? You know, when we grew up, I grew up, you know, do as I say, not as I do. You know,
right?
And now this generation, they just ain't having it. You know, they ain't selling dreams, they ain't buying dreams, or none of that stuff.
Well, the problem is we got to get back to parenting. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
we got to get back to parenting, regardless. Like you say, do as I say, not as I do. But we got to get back to parenting, and we can't be scared to talk to our kids. You know what I'm saying?
And we try to focus too much on being their friends and getting along. We be their friends just so we can get along with them, and then parenting run to the wayside.
Right.
You know.
And then and each generation is supposed to reach back and touch and teach. And because of technology, pandemics, and all this other stuff, social media, we got away from that. So, I mean, we just got to get back to parenting and get back to, you know, get back to loving.
Definitely. Snoop, it's on you, brother. Come on with it.
Oh, man. Here we go. James Holmes. I did 17 years in prison, and I came home and decided when I was sitting in the prison cell before I came home that I got like a premonition in jail, and it told me like I'm going to be doing some type of work when I get home for my people, my community, whatever. And now that kind of work has become a way of life because ever since I've been home, I've been doing this work. As earlier Quincy described, 4 guys that first started off with this work, and I'm one of the original guys that started off in this work. And it's just like I said, it's a way of life for me. I can't do nothing else. It ain't about the money. It ain't about nothing but seeing the progress and being able to see the outcomes of the young men and the young women, because parenting is watered down, because we tend to put our children on the same level as us when we smoke weed with them and we drink with them and different things like that. We lose the respect for how your child gonna respect you if you're doing the same thing with them that you do with somebody else. They put them on the equality, so they become not your parenting goes all the way out the window, and it becomes your friend. And I don't need a friend with my child. I need someone that I can raise. So for me, that's just like a real red flag.
No, I understand, man. That's dope, bro. What experiences did you go through while you were inside that you reached that point? Because I mean, there was a point where we lived life a certain way. I was in the streets. I thought that what I was what I was always gonna be. And then after about 12 years of my 17, that's when I started really going through transitions, because I was just tired of living in this vicious cycle. You know what I'm saying? Of just murder, drugs, dropping out of school, just not owning shit, not having shit. You know what I'm saying? Always struggling. And I wanted to come home because I wanted to live a different lifestyle. And not only that, but I wanted to teach others that they had options and they could do things different, because so many of us felt like we didn't have options, because everybody's so concerned about what people are going to say. What are they going to think? You know what I mean? Brothers who try to, get away from the gang life, get away from the drug life, get away from the streets. Even you hear people who end up being successful get a job and buy a house outside of the neighborhood, and they get ridiculed and criticized, as not being real, because they leveled up and and moved on to bigger and better things for themselves.
And it's funny you asked that question, because on my way here today, a real good friend of mine, his name is Gazi Wangu. He's a Nigerian, and we were talking. We did prison time together, and I was like, man, I look back on my life today and I wonder, I'm here. How did I get here? And he was like, well, man, you a good dude, man. He's saying you lead with your heart. And he say, so God bless you. And I'm a firm believer in my God. I'm going to be a little selfish with this one and say my God. You understand? I'm a firm believer in my God. And then, in believing in my God, and me being covered with the blood of Jesus, and understanding that there are blessings down the line. So becoming the example of change, as you're saying, moving out to the suburbs, that's showing the young men and young women in our society that, okay, I was in the streets at one time, but I'm not in the streets no more. I figured out a way to channel that energy and push it from a negative to a positive. So being that example doesn't mean anybody that tells you something like you turned your back on the neighborhood, those aren't the guys that you want to be involving yourself with, because evidently they have a negative energy that they push it towards you that you don't have no need for in your life ever. So anybody that pushes you, see, we have a mentality in our community where we try to pull each other down. That's what I like about Ceasefire, because we have a family-oriented organization where we try to uplift each other. You know what I'm saying? It's a pat on the back. It's not a pull on the back. You know what I'm saying? That we do every day, not one day. Every day we patting each other on the back. We lifting each other up. So and being that example again in our community, showing that stop pulling your brother back, man. Start pushing your brothers and sisters forward, because everybody need a helping hand. Everybody need a pat on the back. Everybody needs that I'm able to call and say, hey, man, I need you today. Because in my life, I need everybody. It's not one day that I don't need somebody, because everybody needs somebody.
That crab in a bucket mindset has destroyed our community, has destroyed families, and so that was my main mission, is to change that mindset within our community, so we can start seeing how much more and how much better we can be if we were united, if we were supportive of each other, if we learned how to just have respect for one another, and be able to build with one another. We're all in the same boat. And some of us have potential, some of us have gifts and blessings that take us in other directions, but I feel personally like I suffered with purpose. I feel like the only way I could service was my community today is from all the suffering that I had done, and that goes back to the story of Jesus, when Jesus has suffered for us. You know what I'm
But
saying?
you know, let me stop you right there with your suffering, because I hear you speak about how you suffer so much. Your suffer has molded you to be the individual you are today. Without you going through that suffering, you would not be able to be the example that you is today. Don't believe that everybody's not looking at you that's around you, because the little homies, the little nephews, they understand it. They look at it. So you're becoming the role model. But your suffering, Jesus. If you look through the Bible, everybody suffered through the Bible. But they became who they became because of their suffering. So today you stand as a great man because of your suffering. So don't look at your suffering as a downfall. Look at your suffering as a molding for who you've become today.
Transformation.
Definitely. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Kurt McGirt, it's on you, brother.
What's up, man?
Talk to us, man. Where you from? What is it and what ain't it?
What's up, man? My name is Kurt. I go by the name Kurt McGirt. Came up in an organization that's called the Young Boys Incorporated. My story is, as some people say, infamous.
I read the book. I was with
beginning.
Sandman in the joint. He showed me the YBI book. Showed me a picture. I knew everything about you before I even met you.
Yeah. So, my thing is, I'm working with Ceasefire because it's time for this cowboys and Indian stuff. It's to cease for it, because the simple fact, if they don't understand that every time they go before a judge, the numbers is high. They creating the sentence that the judge gonna give them when they go in front of the court with this wild stuff. My whole thing is, let's start thinking before we react. You know what I mean? Violence is the last step.
Yeah, talking to the mic, bro.
Violence is the last stop.
So let me ask you this though, because we live in a bloodthirsty society, bro. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's first reaction, response, whether it's their natural instinct or whether it's just about drawing first blood, everything always resorts to murder. Somebody got to die behind this. Why do you think that is?
Well, for sometimes it's because paranoia. I'm gonna draw on you first before you draw on me, and sometimes innocent people get caught up in that.
A lot of innocent people get caught up in that because every day or every other day, this team is reporting to incidents, and we're making it to the scene, and children's bodies are laying on the floor.
Yeah.
These are children. We're going to funerals for children. My cousin just a couple weeks ago, 14 years old, was murdered. He's 14 years old. He's a child.
Yeah.
We've been to funerals, 11-year-old girl killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is sad. This is terrible. This is really happening. And I feel like a big part of it is because of what we did and what we didn't do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we played a part in it some of the ways, but my whole thing is, how do we talk to them now? How do
with
we
respect,
reach out to them?
with respect, because that's what they want is respect. They don't want adults coming in and talking down to them.
Right. It's a lot of guys that don't know how to talk to them. They talk at them.
You gotta give them a voice.
They talk. You know what I mean? They talk at them. And when you talking at a person, you're trying to tell a person instead of giving them advice.
Why do you think it's so hard for adults to respect youth?
Well, I guess some of the adults forget that they was used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they forget that, okay, you did something goofy too. So remember how your parents used to talk to you and how you felt when they was talking to you the way that you talking to your child.
And Kurt, that goes back to the separation and the lack of parenting and not running the house. So the communication, it's a communication gap that's crazy, because we don't know how to talk to them because we forgot how to talk.
It's social skills.
That's what I'm saying, for sure.
We lost social skills, and really, the social skills is basically the TV. We learn how to be social from movies. We don't know how to separate fiction from real. You know what I mean? We feel that, okay, this is what this is how I'm supposed to react. When no, that's not how you're supposed to react. because you got to realize if you react in a violent state, you got a certain outcome behind that violent state.
And there's consequences.
But see, this is the thing too, is like when I was young, I understood the consequences of my action. I was a gang member. I was taught, you know, the possibility, even when I in school, they always told me you're either gonna be dead or you're gonna be in prison. I was willing to accept that. You know what I'm saying? For my gang, if I kill you, they gonna honor me.
And
if you kill me, they gonna remember me. If I go to prison, they gonna salute me. So it was like I was gonna win all across the board. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't care about consequences because I wore that shit as a badge of honor.
But
you know?
That's the difference that I'm seeing now, because see, they say that they gonna die. They say they gonna die at 25. We never thought that. We never thought that we was dying. You know what I mean? So it's the mindset. You figuring that this is how you gotta live to get, you know, no you don't, man. You got to live a long time and enjoy your life. You know what I mean? Everybody be talking about they 100.
But listen, bro, the other day when we made that call over there off of Gratiot, and I seen that community, bro. It was dilapidated. The whole community was dilapidated, bro. How can you be motivated or inspired by anything? How can you think about doing anything good, positive, or better when you are surrounded by nothing but abandoned and burnt down houses and open fields? Like, bro, how can you dream big when you surrounded by everything that's so small, bro?
Well, let me explain this to you, man. It's the individual, you know what I mean, and the people that surround the individual. Because when I went to prison at 17, and I did 30 years. And in that environment, I could have came out or could have been a person with hate in my heart. But I chose not to do that in an environment where there's nothing but hate. So my question is, you know what I mean, it can be done, but it takes the individual to want it.
Absolutely, man.
You know?
Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate all you brothers for sharing, man. We're going to move on to the next segment. Much love to you guys, and thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
We got Riley, Sincere, and Chap. So we got three more, just wonderful people that I work with, part of my team. Everybody has their own gifts. Everybody contributes. Everybody here is an asset. We got my man Riley. We got Chaplain Yolanda, and we got my brother Sincere. Riley, we're going to start with you, man. Let them have it. Let them know who you are and where you from, man, and why you do what you do.
So my name is Riley Greer, also known as Cuddy Coming Up, also known as Detroit's own Kevin Hart today. Hey, I'm the guy that walk up to you at the gas station, give you the hug and to see how you doing or whatnot. I've been doing it for years. I am from the west side of Detroit, Strathmore Monroe Road. Grew up, went to Parkman Elementary. I'm gonna throw that in there. Went to Parkman, went to Rudderman, went to Drew, McKenzie for a short stint, then Bobby, and then Mumford. Graduated from Mumford in class of '99. Yeah, it is. I was a problem child. I grew up for a minute. I was in the gang for a minute. I just had to. My mother passed away when I was 14, going on 15. So I switched some things up in my life. I made a promise to her that I would get out the gang, which I really wasn't planning on sticking by. Then she died that year of a heart attack, so I had to stick by it. That was one of the hardest things for me to do because these are all the same guys that had my back coming up. So I made sure I still had their back a little later, whatnot, but I wasn't as active as I was in the beginning. So I had to figure out some other things. Graduated high school, went to college and whatnot. still came back to the neighborhoods and whatnot, still say what up to my homeboys, still show love. And I do what I do because, well, I grew up without a father. My mother died she died when I was 14, going on 15. I had some family members coming up. I idolized them. Today they're dead, murdered, of course, in the city of Detroit. I stand on that every day when I go out here and talk to these youth. I'm a resource coordinator. I want to make sure I give these kids out here all the resources available. Anything that I can't do, I let them know. I'm always honest with them. I approach all of them with respect. And the reason I'm in the position I'm in right now is because I used to work at a place called Northeast Guidance Center. I was over this program called Youth in Transition, YIT. And the Northeast Guidance Center is a mental health, outpatient mental health facility or whatnot. And I serviced the kids from 18 to 26. And I was like a rock star up there. The kids loved me. They respect me. They was ready to follow me to the ends of the earth. I made sure they had jobs. I made sure they could take responsibility for their actions. I made sure they could handle their business. And I'm sure they're still doing it today because they linked up with me on Facebook and they still call me today. So,
man, that's really dope, bro. Man, I really appreciate you sharing that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, even being a graduate and all that, man, like, you know, congratulations on that, just because, you know, I don't know, bro. We used to have a misinterpretation of what manhood was growing up. You know, everything was about, you know, rough texture, being hard, being tough, even being ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like, even ignorance was considered being tough. Like, if you was a good kid in school and you were doing well, like, everybody considered you to be soft or weak. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy that even at that age that, you know, they would have that perspective. But that's just that misguidance and lack of male figure, positive figure. You know what I'm saying? And even, you know, for, you know, a community, to like really judge you by your success, because everybody's so used to not having nothing that once somebody is, you know, starting to do better, they get ridiculed for it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just, you know, that's great, bro, that you graduated and you know, and did well for yourself, man. And I know you had to lose a lot of people too, you know, along the way. And I'm sure that's what motivated you and inspired you, you know, to do the work that you do today. So let me ask you this. How do you find the resources that you're able to provide for the community?
So I've been doing this work for 16 years, and most of the resources that I've gathered throughout the years, I still have. We put together a resource guide, and I make new connections all the time. I might run into somebody over here and they're doing something different. I might say, well, what are you doing now? You know, that's a social work. That's how we do. And then I'm doing this. Okay, that's a resource right there. That's the next resource right there. So with that being said, the connection is going to be made between whoever it is, whatever member from Ceasefire, you know, tell to go wherever it is they need to go and to handle that business and, you know, get the resource. And one thing I'm never going to do with any of these kids, I'm never going to lie to them. I'm never going to say, hey, man, go over there. You know, it's peas and carrots over there. And they go over there and look, it's not peas and carrots over there. So
how helpful are the resources, though?
So if the kids stick with actually going through, actually getting their resources, they're very helpful. But sometimes, and I get it, some of the kids that I deal with, they don't, it's not a good follow through. So we got to do a follow up with those kids to see, you know, what's going on with them. But
and what are some of the barriers? Is it lack of responsibility, lack of transportation, lack of finances, lack of discipline?
All of that. But one of the biggest things is the follow through. One of the biggest things is just the follow through. If they just actually did the follow through, it'll sound and look differently. Even when I talk to them, did you get a chance to? Oh no, I'm gonna do that later. This job not paying enough. I'm like, paying $18 an hour. You know, what are you looking for? Can you work 2 jobs? You know, things of that nature. So we got all the resources they need, but a lot of times they want some of the guys, and I'm not gonna say all, but some of the guys don't want to actually put that work in, the same work that they put in out here in these streets. They don't want to put that weight of work into a straight 9 to 5. So
Let me suggest this. I had a conversation with Chief White. We did Walk a Mile in Southwest one day, and I shared a story with him about, me being young. By the time I was 21 years old, I had 3 kids already, so I owed child support for all 3 kids. I had dropped out of school in 9th grade, so I had no education. So it's not like I was going to get some good job that was going to pay me any good money, and any money that I made, the friend of the court was going to take it. So it really discouraged me from even wanting to have a job, period, because I said I ain't gonna be able to make a living for myself. So do you think that could play a factor in why a lot of men don't want to work today? You know what I'm saying? If they're just have multiple kids, even one child, you know what I'm saying? And then if they're not even with the mother, a lot of times that puts a lot of strain on the relationship. The mother goes to the friend of the court, and now they're on your head, and they'll take enough money where you can barely live for yourself, and that can discourage a lot of people from wanting to work, a lot of men and even young men, because I was like, I'm gonna have to sell drugs for the rest of my life,
So for us, I'm gonna be honest, that's low hanging fruit for us. We got like one of the dopest legal liaisons right here in the state of Michigan. His name, that's Sincere right there. You see him? Bam. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna refer you to Sincere. I'm actually gonna have if that's any of that was going on right now, you were one of the ceasefire members. I would talk to Bishop Darrell Harris, Chaplain Yolanda Stinson, and we're gonna work something out. There is no we remove barriers, okay? We remove barriers, and once the trust is there, finally there, then for us to actually help those out, so that those excuse me, I'm excited right now, so that those barriers can be removed, then whoever we're working with, it goes into play. But those guys have got to do a follow through. Look, I'm gonna help you, but you gotta help you. You gotta help me help you.
Absolutely. Yup, no doubt about it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your insight.
Love.
Chaplain Yolanda, it's on you. Let us have it.
Hey everybody, my name is Yolanda. I am a chaplain, so my name is not Chaplain Yolanda. My name is Yolanda. I am a chaplain by calling and by choice. I am a part of the ceasefire family and team by choosing. I tell everybody that I was handpicked, I say, because of my serving. So I am a servant at heart, and they found me serving, and they came to get me because of my track record in my serving. So I serve the community, I serve the people, I serve the team. And that's what I do. I am one of those who live my life to do as I say, not just as I do. So if I can't do what I'm telling you to do, then don't follow me. Follow me because you see me doing what I'm telling you to do. And so I want to be that example that I needed when I was a young girl. So being an impactful person, being a helpful person, being a servant, that's who I am. And I just bring that to the team, as well as always being an encouragement to all of my teammates, to remind them of how awesome they are, to boost them up, because morale has to be great for the work that we do. Because when you're called to see death all the time, you need somebody that's going to speak life. And so I'm that life speaker. I'm that one that encourages the team, because I am so honored and so humbled to be amongst these great people. So that's a little bit, that's it.
Man, listen, you are one of the most powerful speakers that I have ever heard. I mean, you do not talk to flesh, you talk to spirit. I have watched you literally speak to masses of people and have everybody, including myself, undivided attention, and it is like the word of God had just come right out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You are very, very powerful. I appreciate everything that you do, for us, for our community, for our team. You are just a valuable, valuable person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to not talk anymore because I don't want to cry. But I'm grateful.
Well, if you do cry, I hope they are tears of joy. You hear me?
Absolutely. Listen, it's a blessing to be Bishop Darrell Harris's assistant. Let me put that shameless plug out there, because I am his assistant to help, as Sincere always says, make magic, do magic in the lives of some people that need help. They need it at the worst time in their lives, and somehow, some way, we're found to be those ones that come and bring the magic or bring the pain or bring the noise, as I'm always told to do, bring the noise. And so we bring the noise and we break down, as Riley said, we break down the barriers and we find a way to make their life just a tad bit better, even if it's just for a moment. So that's who we are. That's a part of the love that's in my heart, and that's what I pour back out. So you can never not see me serving, never not see me loving, never not see me giving, because that's who I am.
There it is. There it is. She just told you what it is and what it ain't. You know, I love it. I love it. My man, Sincere, it's all you, brother. It's all you.
Sincere out LA. I'm from the east side of Detroit. Born on Mack Avenue. Moved to East Grand Boulevard, so I went back and forth between Mack and East Grand Boulevard, which connect. I could literally walk to my grandmother's house from where me and my mom moved us. Formerly incarcerated, did 19 years total, 2 years juvenile, a couple of years in the feds, 15 and some change in the state. My story here starts from someone following me on social media, young lady named Sheila McBride, now Sheila Young. She reached out to me a couple of years ago, asked me would I sit down and have a meeting. And that meeting was for a program called Ceasefire, which had something to do with DPD. So all I heard was Ceasefire and Detroit Police Department. And, you know, a part of my growth and my maturity allowed me to listen to her instead of blocking her. No sooner I seen police. But I was wise enough, I had gained enough wisdom to actually listen to the conversation. And that led to a meeting between me and David Ruffin over here, you know, AKA Quincy Smith. I originally got hired on as a resource coordinator. I'm just in recent times figuring out they really didn't know what to do with me. But my meeting with Quincy was special. A regular afternoon, and I'm gonna say this, in all my time incarcerated, I think one of the reasons why I never became institutionalized is because what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of us were institutionalized before we ever went into a system. So the system became my normal, right? And where I came from was actually prison. The demographic in which I grew up in was terrible. So by the time I was introduced to the system at a very young age, because I went to prison at 15, I was gang banging at 11, 12, 13 years old. I was a part of an organization called All in the Family, which grew into something just so much bigger on a larger scale. But back to this day, Sheila set up a meeting with me and Quincy at the Ceasefire Outreach office. I showed up to this meeting, 3-piece suit, ready to have a conversation. It's after I came home from my long stint in incarceration, I took everything seriously. I had lost so much time that I just always wanted to make sure that I put one foot forward in any conversation or foundation of anything that I had. We never really had a chance to have a meeting. By the time I walked in to talk to him, one of his outreach members was going through something that day, and it led to us to actually go out into the world and literally have to assist him. I knew absolutely nothing about outreach. I know nothing about activism. I knew nothing about any programs of this nature, but it looked as if it was something I can identify with. So that day, what turned into a job was natural to me. We went out to help a young man who needed a hand, and it led to whatever outreach is. If you can look it up, whatever outreach is happened that day. So a conversation that would have been about a job turned more into an action. And I think that was where the confusion came, because I think on that day it was more of an outreach, a problem solving, and a resource type of situation, and it kind of came together. So the conversation about a job never happened. We went to see him. We did what needed to be done to get him to the next stage, which is literally the next day. And next
so you
thing,
guys did a follow up.
Well, I'm not even gonna call it a follow. I'm gonna call it a follow through.
Okay.
Because he was already a member, and this wasn't the first time that Quincy had dealt with him.
Mm-hmm.
But the next contact I had with Quincy was an interview. And another day, I showed up. On this day, I met 3 other individuals to work with Ceasefire: Bishop Harris, Phil Simmons, and of course Director Jones. But that's kind of where the story started. How I fit in kind of came about. Basically, they gave me a chance, and once I had the opportunity to sit at the table, I created a foundation for myself. They gave me the opportunity to showcase what my skill set was, and I grew.
My man, you are a beast at what you do too, bro. For real, I'm honored to be right by your side building with you, brother.
Absolutely.
But man, thank you guys all for sharing. I appreciate you guys, and we're gonna move on to the next segment and get the next
Thank you
group in here.
for what you do.
You're
Holding
welcome,
it
you're
down for
welcome.
Southwest and then bringing us in.
What? You better know it. That's what we call building bridges, baby.
Thanks.
So we got Lex, Susan, and E on deck. Come on in. Come on in, baby. My brother.
Get that chief speech that you gave.
Come on now, E. Don't be scared. Oh, yeah. Scoot over a lot of bit. E big.
So we got my man Lex Zavala here. We got Susan Wiley, and we got my man Big E. That's my man's right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let Lex start out and let him know what it is and what it ain't, bro.
What up, though, everybody? First and foremost, shout out to my 2 kids, Nino and Sally. They got to stay up late just to watch this. So Poppy's on TV. How you guys doing? After this, you gotta go to bed. Born and raised in Southwest Detroit. I'm an 80s baby. I grew up in the crack era. My mom's worked with kids my whole life. Stepfather got addicted to crack when we was kids. And we went through it. You know what it was like in Southwest Detroit back then. By the time I was 17, I had over 30 friends who were killed. And one of those friends, when I got at 19, was my best friend and brother-in-law. Was killed suicide by cop, and I inherited his 2 kids. Shout out to my 2 oldest. Izzy baby, Tonio. But
Izzy is.
Yep, Isabel the Goddess. Check it out,
Baby
Southwest
Bell.
Fest.
Southwest Fest, August 27th. I'll be hosting, man. Be there, be square. You better
My
know
nephew
it.
Gio be performing too, so shout out young Gio.
Yeah. Pew, 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 pew.
But it losing my best friend and then getting his son handed to me at 3 days old, having his daughter living with me at 8 months old, really made me want something different. I didn't want that life no more, and I wanted to do something different. So I started to work with his peewees, 2400 cash flows. From there, really work with everybody. Counts, Sureños, folks. I had all those kids in my youth group and really trying to build with them, and for the last 19 years, I've been, doing for the community, building, and really trying to empower people to build that capital equity in our community and really uplift people. I'm not rich, but I've brought millions into our community. I've sent more kids to college than anybody with the trust fund. I've helped more people get jobs than I can even count. And it's about really providing for our people, building power amongst our people, and really stepping in where our fathers failed. We grew up a generation without men, and it's been multi-generations now with absentee fathers, right? So how can we fill in and fill those shoes, really? So I'm Theo, Papi, brother to a lot of people. I've had kids from my group live on my couch for years. Shout out Southeast, shout out Marcus, shout out Lil Beto, and really building. And then, when you do this work, you work with other people who do this work. So I met Bishop, met Q, met Cheryl several years ago, and we've been, interacting for years. I've recommended a couple people to come and work in Southwest for Ceasefire because, Southwest is a different animal in Detroit. So really, you got to be from Southwest to be welcomed into Southwest, right? And after brother Pat passed away, Q gave me a call and was like, yo, we need somebody to really tap back in. And I was like, well, we've been collaborating for so long. Why don't you just hire DHDC, Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation, to fill that position, and you get more than just one person. You get a whole organization behind you. And how can we really build that power and build each other up to really do this work out here? Because there's only so many people out here that really do this work. You get a lot of people who tweet about the work. You get a lot of people who real quick to post up in Instagram and stand next to Ceasefire or other people and be like, we were there. But when the shit's hitting the fan, ain't nobody else there, right? So to be able to build that bridge and build power with other brothers and sisters, like-minded, same-hearted, same backgrounds, it was just a natural fit. And we're going on almost a year, that fast, and we're just gonna keep it building, man. Sky's the limit, and when you do God's work, God provides. And we're gonna take this work to the next level and really be that national staple, that international staple on how you really work with people who have obstacles, how you really touch souls, how you really change lives. And that comes from being from those same places, being amongst the people, being with the people that really do this work, right?
Being of the people.
We're not just doing this work. I do this work, and after I'm done with work, I see my people at the grocery store. I see my people at church. I see my people in wherever I go, my people are there. So I can't just turn off the work. The work is 24/7, right? And it really makes it a difference when you are of the people, because then they can relate back to you. My stories are the same. Their stories are the same. Even if our upbringing is a little bit different, even if our shade of color is a little bit different, the trauma's the same, the pain's the same, the successes are the same. And we cry, laugh, and do everything together, and we'll make it to that next level together, not divided.
My man, listen, bro, I have learned so much from you, bro. You have inspired me so much. You are so intelligent. Your experience has given you so much knowledge, bro. And I love the way you pour it into me. I love the way, excuse me, you create opportunities. you have put me in the best positions, and every opportunity that has been given to me, I am just so grateful for, bro. I just got back from Seattle, Washington, out there networking with the Juvenile Justice Coalition. I was able to go out there, represent for DHDC, for ceasefire. I mean, we stood tall out there, bro. I shared my story. I shared our story, and they loved it out there, bro. And I just, I'm really grateful, like Snoop was saying, like the suffering was not for nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is fulfilling the purpose. The Bible is full of people who are sharing stories of their sufferings and their experiences and their experience with God and Jesus and all the work that they've done in their life and how they got to where they at today after the suffering, and they were able to make an impact and change lives.
Well, let me say this. Maestro Jerry Theo from National Compadres Network told me, you use your pain for medicine. How you turn that pain into medicine. And real man should cry. Because we're crying for our ancestors who didn't have a chance to cry, who were killed too fast to then get that chance. So we carry those tears, we carry that trauma, and our job is to flip that trauma. Our job is to use that trauma as medicine and to really build our community and no longer tear down our community. It's been set up for us to tear it down. We have to be able to outthink the game and use the rules for our advantage to start building. To start buying our blocks back, to start building amongst our people, start educating our own people, teaching our own people, giving our own people jobs, because ain't nobody coming to help us. If we ain't helping ourselves, Joe Biden ain't gonna do it for us.
No doubt about it, man. For sure. Southwest always been on the back burner. Everything we got, we had to go get it on our own, man. For sure.
Detroit hustles harder. Nobody hustles like Southwest.
For sure, man. Thanks a lot for sharing, Lex. Susan, it's on you. Susan, let them have it. Let them know who you is.
Okay, my name is Susan Wiley. Most of my work people know me as Wiley. Don't know how that happened.
Wiley Coyote.
Wiley Coyote, yep. I work under Lex. He's my direct supervisor or direct director. I guess that would be it. Ladio's my coworker. Wouldn't trade him in for the world. He's the best coworker in the world. Originally, I can honestly say I did not grow up in Detroit. I grew up downriver, on the water, out in the boat every weekend. Didn't realize, like, when I went to Detroit, it was with my parents, with my family, and we only went where they wanted to take me. So once I became a police officer, I got caught up to speed real quick and seen a different side of life. And did that for 7 years, and then I left to become a probation officer and tether officer working with juveniles in Southwest Detroit. And that's where I found my true passion. You see so many kids that come from situations that they have no control over. They'd get locked up and you'd give them a year of treatment, and sadly you're putting them back in the same family, the same community who hasn't changed. They've changed, but the people around them have not. So you're just kind of setting them up for failure. I really got involved in the community with my work, and my daughter went to middle school at AOA, so built a lot of relationships at that. It was English as a second language, so built a lot of relationships with the Spanish community there. And then she went to Cass Tech and recently graduated, and the kids there know me as Mama Susan and know that my phone is available 24/7 no matter what the emergency is. One thing I've realized coming to work at DHDC, I did work for a nonprofit before and didn't realize how much more could be done or how much more that nonprofits could be doing until I went to DHDC and really seen the work that was being done at DHDC.
A nonprofit we won't name.
No. But I've been around for 22 years, so anybody who know. So, but since I've been at DHC, I've been welcomed. I'm super proud of the work that they do. I've seen more work in the last 5-6 months that I've been there than in 20 plus years where I was working before. So, and I can say that with pride because DHDC is definitely doing the work. When Lex And Juan, who also works at DHDC, pulled me aside and told me about Ceasefire, said we'd like, you're going to get involved in this and that, and then to see what Ceasefire was about. The lady and gentleman that work with Ceasefire, they're selfless, they have a great mission, and they give of themselves. So I'm honored to be a part of DHDC and to be able to partner with Ceasefire because they're out there doing the work, making a difference in communities and trying to stop the violence, build stronger communities, and help people who truly need the help and that want to help themselves. I don't know what else too much to say, but I hope to be part of this for a long time to come. I have 2 kids. I have a grandbaby who's being born right now at Wyandotte Hospital. So
wow.
I'll be heading
Shout
back
out new
there.
grandbaby.
New grandbaby, hopefully in the next few minutes here. So
that's dope.
yep.
Congratulations.
So I'll be up all night. I'll be tired tomorrow at work. So
You can have the day off.
I'll probably be in
you
there
heard
10.
that right now. This is live
I'm
right now.
about to tell you, I might be at about 10 o'clock.
You're gonna be the godfather, so you can be that one too, right? You coming too? So yeah. But I just wanted to say thanks for all the opportunities, and I know that we're going to do great things working with DHDC and working with Ceasefire.
Thank you so much, Susan, for sharing. My man E, baby, that's the man of the hour right there, boy. Talk to him, let him know what it is and what it ain't, baby. It's all on you, like my man Vezo say. It's all on you.
My name is E, better known Ray Sean Edmond. I'm an East Side worker. I'm an East Side outreach worker, East Side of Detroit. I'm just a savage and a soldier for the work. I better actions speak louder than words. I was a knucklehead before. I did a whole lot of things, so I get it. So by me getting it, to put into my community and help the same people that I need to help, it's making a difference, man. You know what I'm saying? We can't help everybody. We can lead a horse to water, but we can't make them drink it. But cause is to help everybody. So teaming up with my boys over here from Southwest, with Detroit, East Side, we gonna make it happen. I don't really have too much things to say. Like, my actions speak louder than words for my work. I really ain't a camera dude. Don't be on there.
We forced him to get on. He didn't want to get on. He did not want to get on.
I'm really not a camera dude, but my actions, I like to show my actions better than talking about it, But shit, I love my team who I work with. I wouldn't change them for the world. You know what I'm saying? This a brothership, this a partnership, this love, it's all family. You know what I'm saying? So we just try to do what we can do to help the community and help the world. We can't help the whole world, but we could take our piece of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can do. So thank y'all for the broadcast. Mine is 2-3 minutes tops. We're done.
My man Edo, man, you very powerful, you very influential. When we down there working in Greektown, bro, you see people hanging out the cars, people walking, pulling up. What's up, E? Everybody hugging you, everybody showing you love, showing respect. Like, we all get that in our respective communities. And we in Greektown, that's like neutral ground for everybody. Everybody in Detroit go through there, bro. And everybody who's standing there with a Ceasefire shirt knows somebody, bro. And it's all positive. You know what I'm saying? And ever since I've been a part of the Ceasefire team, bro, me and you been like, you know what I'm saying, just clicked off bail, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Cain and Abel, baby.
Just don't kill my brother.
We ain't gonna do all that. We gonna show one another love. I killed for him though.
How about live for him?
I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah, we always talking about ready to die for our people. We need to be living for our people.
I mean, we gonna do that.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And
And it's
real
amazing
good
because ain't nobody been able to bridge that gap like Ceasefire and DHDC have had, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always been a division between East, West, Southwest. Like, we always was on the back burner. Everybody always acknowledged Detroit through East and West. And now that we bridged this gap, bro, like, it's been a beautiful experience. You know what I'm saying? It's been a mix of cultures, experience, education, knowledge, all that good stuff, man. And I love being a part of it. But I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in, tapping in, sharing, subscribing. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll see you next Monday at 9 p.m.
Peace out.